When it comes to our marriage, John only had 3 words to describe it: an impulsive decision. So he let that woman fall into his arms, straddle him, and entangle herself in ambiguous intimacy. I found it utterly pointless and began drafting divorce papers. But then I unexpectedly discovered that woman's identity. Wait, no, this just got interesting. Feeling dazed, I sat frozen in place for a long time. Lily emerged from changing and frowned at me. "What are you doing?" I looked up and forced a smile. My legs went numb. Lily immediately sensed something wrong. She sat beside me, gripping my hands. What happened? I wished she'd be less perceptive right now. My thoughts tangled into knots. I hadn't figured out how to explain this. As if someone had cast a silencing spell on me. My mouth opened but no words came out. "What's wrong? Don't scare me like that." "Never mind. Let's get you home." She started helping me up. I held her back, my voice grating. John might be cheating. It had been an ordinary day. John left early for work. With nothing planned, I invited Lily for swimming. After an hour, I went to the cafe downstairs to wait. Drying my hair, I spotted John through the glass partition of the billiards lounge. He sat languidly at a table, expression neutral. Just as I moved to call out, a cheapao-clad woman swayed toward him, hips undulating with calculated grace. This wasn't casual socializing. This was blatant seduction. She stopped before him, silk-clad calf brushing his knee as she leaned forward. "Mr. Wilson, let's make a bet." Her lacquered nail tapped the pool table. "If I clear the table in one turn, you spend the night with me." My fingers clawed into my palms. I should have stormed in, shoved her aside, claimed what's mine. But my legs turned to lead. I could only watch, desperately hoping John would react. He didn't. Instead, he leaned closer, murmuring, "Why should I take that bet?" The woman's vermilion lips curved. "Are you scared, Mr. Wilson?" "Humph." John sneered. "I have a wife. Oh." The woman remained unfazed. "I never took John for the whip type. I thought you and I were like restless souls." Her voice curled like smoke, sweet and dangerous. Their gazes locked. In that charged moment, John suddenly stood. The woman gasped, tumbling backward. He caught her waist, then hoisted her over his shoulder, striding toward the exit. "Save the games," he growled. "You win. I'm a novelist. Written a few bestsellers, sold some film rights, made a name for myself in the industry. I've crafted countless iconic scenes. The charged tension between John and that woman just now. Give me 800 words and I'd have the entire internet shipping them. Brazen seductress meets willing prey. Classic power couple material. Shame about the wedding ring on his finger and her apparent lack of moral compass. Makes the whole thing rather repulsive, don't you think?" Lily's face darkened. "That bastard. I'm confronting him. Don't." I caught her arm again. Her eyes flashed. "Why? You're not seriously considering letting this slide?" I rubbed my face. The initial numbness was fading. Retelling the incident to Lily had jolted me back to reality. "Lily, what's the proper reaction when witnessing your husband's infidelity?" When John carried that woman out, a dozen dramatic scenarios played in my mind, collapsing in tears, slapping him, delivering scathing monologues, storming out with dignity, yet I did none of it. Just slid down the wall to sit on the floor. No tears. No rage. Just hollow exhaustion. I'd always put John on a pedestal. Now he's revealed himself as just another cheating husband, pathetically ordinary. Honestly, it's boring. I declined Lily's offer to stay, driving home alone. The entire route, I dissected the scene like plot points. When did they meet? What's their backstory? Emotional affair or physical? Both, but strip away the details, and it's just another married man screwing an attractive woman. No narrative complexity. No redeeming qualities. Not even original enough to be main characters, just tawdry supporting roles in some cheap drama. I couldn't help but shake my head. As expected, no matter how I tried to rationalize it, everything felt utterly meaningless. So what should I do? Divorce. There was no other option. By the time I parked the car, I'd sorted through all my thoughts. I just needed to get home and contact my lawyer to draft the divorce papers. But to my surprise, before I could make the call, Kevin called me first. His tone was aggressive, immediately demanding, "Where's John? Where is he?" Before I could respond, he fired another question. "Does John have a mole on his left shoulder blade?" For a moment, my mind went blank. Can't blame me for seeing bromance everywhere. Kevin's questions were practically dripping with subtext. Kevin was John's childhood friend, though I barely knew him myself. We didn't even have each other's numbers saved. I had no idea who'd given him my contact. But clearly, I wasn't the one he wanted. My mind raced through everything I knew about Kevin. 3 years ago when John and I got married, Kevin was already buried in work. He'd missed countless friend gatherings, even John's birthday parties. John would tease, "What the hell are you so busy with?" To which Kevin would smirk, "Way more fun stuff than this. Quit nagging me, go entertain your wife." My impression of him remained vague until 6 months ago, when he suddenly landed in the hospital. John took me to visit him, bandages wrapped around his head yet still cracking jokes. Then he disappeared overseas until now. Suddenly, it hit me like lightning. That woman, I'd seen her before. John. Kevin. That woman. The growl of an engine interrupted my thoughts. I rushed to the window just as John's car pulled into the driveway. He was home barely 5 minutes after me. Kevin kept pressing through the phone, "Where is John really?" My hand trembled slightly, but my lips curved into an uncontrollable smile. I answered with perfect innocence. "John? He's in a meeting at the office. Why do you need him?" Kevin hung up abruptly. By the time John sauntered in, I'd already changed clothes and was heading out. He caught my arm. "I just got home. Where are you running off to now?" Blowing him a kiss, I chirped. "Going to hang with Lily." I dashed out before he could respond, hearing his fond chuckle behind me. "Crazy girl. I've seen that woman before." Half a year ago, Kevin ended up in the hospital unexpectedly. John took me to visit him. In the VIP ward hallway, bodyguards were blocking a woman. Her hair was disheveled, her face gaunt yet defiant. She pressed her lips tightly, stubbornly trying to push past them without uttering a word. The guards moved awkwardly but effectively barred her path. John and I paused. At the time, I was simply curious. I didn't look at John's reaction. It wasn't until her thin cardigan slipped off her shoulders during the struggle that John's grip on my hand suddenly tightened. His expression turned venomous, lips curling with disdain as he uttered 3 cutting words: "Troublemaker." Unlike Kevin's flamboyant arrogance, John was a wolf in sheep's clothing. He wielded words like precision instruments even if privately dismissing everyone as trash. Not a syllable would betray that contempt. This was the first time I'd heard him speak so harshly about anyone. A woman, no less. "Do you know her?" I asked. He kept staring straight ahead, face impassive, leading me forward by the hand. He said, "Never met her." "You're certain it's the same woman?" I nodded emphatically. No doubt about it. She was stunning, the kind of beauty that etches itself into memory. When I saw her at the pool hall, there was something familiar, but her drastic style changes between encounters threw me off. "So," Lily looked perplexed. "You're saying she's connected to Kevin?" I snapped my fingers. Bingo. Absolutely. I remember how she froze when John called her troublemaker. The fight drained from her instantly. When I glanced back, her face was stormy, eyes boring into John's retreating form with laser intensity. That woman was gunning for Kevin. John knew it too. Calling her troublemaker? More like she was flirting with John. And he was biting. John carried her out over his shoulder. When Kevin came demanding answers from me, that tiny mole on John's shoulder blade? "You think she sent Kevin that photo?" I can picture it now. Oops. Wrong number. Pretend you never saw this. Shirtless John. John clearly aroused. Arriving home mere minutes after me. He didn't touch her. Noble restraint? Please. I'd rather believe that woman wasn't easy to deal with. That would explain everything. I turned to Lily eagerly. So, do you get it now? Lily looked like she'd swallowed a lemon. Why are you so thrilled? If I remember correctly, one of those 3 people is your husband. Irrelevant. I cut her off. Don't you find this fascinating? 2 men, 1 woman. This is prime drama material. For a spectacle like this, I'll gladly postpone my divorce plans. I arrived home at dusk. Surprisingly, John hadn't gone out. Dressed in loungewear with gold-rimmed glasses, he sat on the sofa tinkering with his laptop. He waved at me. Finally decided to come home? Thought I'd be left alone again tonight. I'd long grown immune to his teasing laced with faux resentment, treating it as background noise. Sitting cross-legged beside him, John raised an eyebrow and pinched my cheek. Why so docile today? Rolling my eyes, I asked. Need to ask you something. Has Kevin returned from abroad? The sudden mention of the name made John freeze. Why bring up Kevin? Did something happen? Pretending not to notice his tension, I forced a casual smile. Nothing major. He called this afternoon asking where you were. Thought he'd returned and wanted to hang out. John hummed non-committally, brows furrowed. I nudged him. Well, is he back or not? He narrowed his eyes. Why the sudden interest? Worried I'll get jealous? Playing the jealous act so convincingly. Am I succeeding? He chuckled, standing up. Not really. I know he's not your type. Lighting a cigarette, he headed toward the balcony. Need some air. I sprawled across the sofa watching his retreating figure. By the way, how did Kevin get injured 6 months ago? John's footsteps faltered. Got into a fight. Who'd dare attack him? Wasn't exactly an attack. The vague answer hung in the air as he slid the glass door shut, cutting off further questions. Lily's irritated voice crackled through my phone later. I've called you 3 times. You keep saying you're busy. I just have to ask. What exactly are you so busy with? Not wanting to drag it out, I sent Lily my location. Working on a novel. Why don't you come over? Lily looked conflicted. Following your husband to work again? You're not stalking him, are you? Hold on. I'm coming. Gossip really does get everyone's adrenaline pumping. Lily arrived quickly, even wearing a face mask. She slid into the booth opposite me like a feral raccoon. You've got way too much free time. I was worried sick about you. Clearly I overreacted. So? Found anything? Nothing. John's been completely normal these past few days. Work. Home. Leisure. That woman hasn't shown up again. But I feel it's coming. That evening, I texted John, coming home for dinner? No. Client dinner. Eat properly, no shortcuts. He went to the club. Lily and I took the private booth next door. After the initial excitement wore off, Lily grew bored, chin propped on her hand as she watched the handsome bartender mix cocktails. You've been tailing him every day? I adjusted my glasses. Not every day. Just when I'm free. Looks like another dead end tonight. As I gathered my things to haul my tipsy friend home, John suddenly appeared down the corridor. Nearby, a group of young guys surrounded a woman who glanced back with a sultry smile, only to accidentally stumble backward right into John's path. I watched closely. He had plenty of space to step aside, but he didn't. Rooted in place with stormy eyes, he let her crash against his chest. His hand drifted up to steady her waist. Oh, isn't that your MMPH? I clamped my hand over Lily's mouth. Too late. John's head snapped toward us. He immediately pushed the woman away, face impassive as he walked past her like nothing happened. What are you doing here? I jerked my chin at Lily. Lying effortlessly, keeping her company for drinks, John bent down, his breath warm against my neck. As he inhaled deeply, "What are you doing?" I pushed him away. He chuckled, "Just checking if our little lightweight resisted temptation. Not bad, behaving for once." I didn't respond, my gaze drifting over his shoulder. The woman had already turned away, leaving only a retreating silhouette. Unlike her elegant cheapao-clad persona last time, tonight she radiated raw sensuality. Yes, unmistakably the same woman. "See something interesting?" John asked. "I feel like I've seen her before." My brows furrowed. "About a face that striking shouldn't be forgettable. Why can't I place her?" "Striking?" He straightened, tilting his head. "Mediocre at best." My eyebrow twitched. "Mediocre? Then why are your fingers, the ones that just grazed her waist, rubbing together like that?" His thumb circled index and middle fingers with deliberate, lingering friction. John claimed he had an after-party to attend, advising me to drive safely and text upon arrival. He watched me leave, unaware I looped the block and returned to the parking garage. Within 60 seconds, he pinned Emma against a car door, her body flush with cold steel, trapping her wrists behind her back. He pressed closer until his chest molded to her spine. She shuddered with a breathy gasp as his graveled voice cut through the darkness. "Emma," he growled, "what's your game?" "My game?" She laughed throatily. "Shouldn't I be asking you that, John? You're the one manhandling me." His grip tightened, knuckles whitening. "Ow." She hissed. "Good. You should feel it." Despite his words, his hold loosened fractionally. "Pathetic." Venom laced his whisper. "So desperate for male attention you'll spread legs for those bottom feeders? How low will you sink?" Emma's laughter tinkled like shattered crystal. "You of all people should know my limits. Can't let your unstable temptress reputation go to waste." "Can I?" His palms slammed against metal by her head. "This self-destruction, why?" She arched backward, tilting her face until their lips nearly brushed. "Why not? If you won't touch me," her murmur feathered his jaw. "Can't blame me for finding substitutes. Or are you jealous?" I zoomed my phone camera, capturing the frame. Having worked on film sets, I'd watched directors obsess over lighting and composition to create iconic scenes. Yet John and Emma effortlessly outdid every staged moment, proof that reality trumps art. My finger hovered over the recent call log. The last number redialed. My hands trembled as I choked out through tears. "Kevin. Do you know Emma? Who is she really?" I hung up without waiting for an answer. When Kevin called back, I declined and powered off my phone. The missing piece of this love triangle needed revealing. How dull otherwise. John didn't come home that night. His phone went straight to voicemail when I called at 3 a.m. The next morning, I stood blending kale when he walked in wearing yesterday's clothes reeking of cigarettes. He changed shirts and left without explanation. His idling car sat in the driveway, tinted windows hiding the passenger seat. Yet I could feel phantom eyes watching me through the glass. "Work's hectic this week. Don't wait up." He called over the engine's growl before disappearing down the road. I sipped my green juice by the window until the glass emptied. Security footage confirmed it. There sat Emma in his passenger seat when they'd returned last night. What had pulsed through John's veins during that drive? Fear? Anticipation? Either way, the adrenaline rush would have thrilled him. Kevin returned faster than expected, intercepting me at home fresh off his flight. "How much do you know?" he demanded. I said nothing, simply handed my phone displaying the damning photo. His face darkened with each passing second until he finally snapped. "Perfect. Follow me if you want answers." His network proved sharper than mine. One call later, we were speeding toward John's location, tires screeching as Kevin floored the accelerator. My jaw ached from clenching through the reckless drive. We found them at a dimly lit lounge, John's arm draped around a tipsy Emma, his jacket shielding her shoulders. I quietly texted Lily our coordinates. "Showtime. Come now." Within minutes, the confrontation crystallized, Kevin and I facing John and Emma in charged silence, the air thick with unspoken accusations. As for John, the affection in his eyes was barely concealed. Tender, lingering, almost reverent, until he looked up and saw me and Kevin. Instantly, his face froze. His hand around Emma's waist instinctively started to withdraw. But Kevin moved faster. Without hesitation, He threw a punch that landed squarely on John's face. Is this the little distraction you've been hiding? Picking up my leftovers? 1 blow. 2. 3. John merely dodged, making no move to retaliate. Yet even-tempered men have limits. When Kevin swung again, John caught his fist midair. Enough, he growled. Must you make this spectacle public? It's not what you think. Let's find somewhere quiet, I'll explain everything. The private lounge became our uneasy arena. Me, John, Kevin, and Emma gathered like warring factions. Kevin's expression darkened like storm clouds. John chain-smoked with restless agitation. Emma sat motionless as marble. I found myself oddly detached from the drama unfolding around me. How long? Kevin's voice cut through the tension. John stubbed out his cigarette with excessive force. You think there's something between me and Emma? I swear on everything, we're clean. She needed help. So I helped. Ask her yourself if you don't believe me. Emma's bitter laugh sliced through the haze. Wasn't I just your plaything? Her gaze locked onto Kevin. Too busy avoiding me? Too preoccupied with your upcoming wedding? Since when do my troubles concern you? Kevin's jaw tightened, his silence more telling than words. John stood abruptly, reaching for my hand. Let's give them space. I'll explain everything at home. I offered no resistance as he led me past the lounge. Lily rose from the velvet booth near the exit, concern etching her features. A subtle nod and discreet thumbs up from me halted her approach. The drive home unfolded in heavy silence. John walked 3 paces ahead, his shoulders rigid, eyes fixed on the middle distance. I need to shower first, he announced the moment we stepped inside. Wait for me. The running water continued for 37 minutes, I counted each excruciating second. When he finally emerged in cloud steam and terrycloth robe, I'd already packed 2 suitcases by the bedroom door. Packing the essentials, important documents and a change of clothes only took 1 suitcase. He stood frozen mid-motion, towel still clutched in his damp hair when I thrust the stack of printer paper at him. What's this? His voice cracked like parched earth. Divorce papers. The silence stretched until John finally sighed. You're being impulsive. About Emma. I can explain. I glanced at my watch. Go ahead. Rubbing his temples, John sat across from me. Remember how you kept asking about Kevin's injury 6 months ago? He got hurt protecting Emma. They dated for 3 years in the projects while he hid his family background. When his cover blew last year, he dumped her, claimed he was bored. But his gaze turned earnest. That same look he'd worn when proposing. Truth is, Kevin never fully moved on. Before leaving the country, he asked me to watch out for Emma if she ever needed help. I'm just honoring a friend's request. My fingernails bit into my palms. That's it? After months of obsessive speculation about Kevin and Emma's history, this anticlimactic reveal made me want to scream. Got it. Sign the papers. You don't believe me? John's wounded expression might have fooled our wedding guests. You really think I'd cheat? With Kevin's ex? Of all people? I fought the urge to facepalm. John, you're smart, but don't insult my intelligence. Unless you want this to get ugly. My cheeks burned with second-hand embarrassment. Let's skip the theatrics. I've got proof about you and Emma. Divorce me quietly unless you want Kevin and everyone at the club knowing your little secret. No fireworks. But the signed papers in my purse made tonight worthwhile. Lily nearly spilled her martini when I slid into the bar booth. Well, did he beg? Cry? Offer his stock portfolio? Worse. I slumped against the leather. He tried logic. Wait, he just agreed? Like ordering takeout. But no grand gestures? No pleading? Lily's engagement ring glittered as she gestured wildly. The bastard cheats and acts like he's doing you a favor? I patted her manicured hand. Oh, sweet summer child. You still think marriage has anything to do with love? Our divorce appointment was set for 3 days later. John moved to his downtown penthouse, giving me space to clear my belongings from the estate. 3 days to dismantle 6 years of shared life, every monogrammed towel and couple's ski trip photo suddenly foreign objects in a stranger's home. As I packed the last box, my fingers brushed against our wedding album. The gilt-edged pages fell open to a frozen moment, John's arms around me as we cut the cake, his smile not quite reaching those calculating eyes. I snapped the book shut, dust motes swirling in the sudden shaft of sunlight. Some love stories don't end with explosions, they suffocate slowly, like flowers pressed between pages. People often say you only realize what you truly value after losing it. Drowning in regret. But reality paints a different picture. Life presents endless choices for everyone. The notion of being irreplaceable only holds weight when your worth stands unmatched. Between John and me, that magical threshold never existed. To him, Emma wasn't worth jeopardizing his friendship with Kevin, and I clearly didn't measure up either. After his initial embarrassment and emotional outburst, John regained his polished composure. Believe it or not, Emma and I never crossed any lines. Still, I owe you an apology. Let me know if you ever need anything. I smiled graciously, accepting this hollow olive branch. 3 days later at the Civil Affairs Office, we filed divorce papers, scheduled to finalize in 30 days. My daily rhythm barely faltered. Gym sessions, novel writing, hunting inspiration. 1 week later, we unexpectedly crossed paths at the wrap party for the hit series User Manual for Humans. His surprise mirrored mine when I explained. I wrote one of the anthology episodes. The one padding your bank account. You never told me, John said with a complicated expression. Lily had asked me the same question. Truth was simple, there'd been no need. During 2 years dating and 3 married, we'd gradually stopped sharing itineraries until we became glorified roommates sharing a roof. I clinked glasses with John before mingling with writer friends. The real drama arrived mid-event when Kevin made an uninvited entrance with Emma draped on his arm. Their striking looks drew murmurs across the ballroom. Kevin raised a champagne flute toward John. We owe you thanks for watching over Emma these months. His gaze swept the crowd. Where's Lily? I should properly thank both spouses. The challenge hung thick. I ducked toward the restrooms only to find Emma waiting at the sinks. Her porcelain features remained frosty. I want you to know nothing improper happened between John and me. I nodded, moving to leave. Her hand shot out, gripping my wrist. You doubt me? Do you assume every woman near your husband wants his bed? Her self-righteous act almost impressed me. But she'd picked the wrong opponent for word games. This time I stopped her retreat. You saw me that day, didn't you? Emma's eyelashes flickered before studying. I don't know what you mean. But she did. That afternoon when John carried her away. Our eyes had met for a split second before she hid her face. One heartbeat of guilty knowledge. Her movements were too quick, too rushed. I instantly knew she hadn't just seen me, she'd recognized me. Yet she did nothing, letting events unfold. You might have a clear conscience, I said. But why should anyone believe you? Does Kevin still touch you? My laugh held no humor. Men are such hypocrites. They'll sleep around yet call women tainted if someone else so much as breathes on them. Emma stood frozen, face draining of color. I nodded politely and walked away. Kevin was getting engaged. His transatlantic flight home served one purpose, to secure a marriage alliance. Emma Brown would never be the chosen one. John approached me with a request. Come with me to the event. Name your price. Why? He rubbed the back of his neck. Kevin doesn't know about our divorce yet. Ah. The same calculation that made him agree to divorce in the first place, avoiding open conflict with Kevin mattered more than pride. More than me. I took his credit card. Practicality won out. Our divorce papers weren't finalized yet, better keep up appearances until the ink dried. Wouldn't want him switching from civility to legal warfare. I expected to be a decorative prop at the engagement party. Instead, I witnessed pure theater. Emma crashed the ceremony in couture splendor. 3 years together. Her voice cracked. You love me, Kevin. I know you're trapped. But I don't care about money anymore. Let's leave, I'll support us both. Gasps rippled through the ballroom. Tears streamed down Emma's hopeful face as she missed Kevin's glacial expression. Ex-girlfriend, he told the crowd, snapping fingers for security. Traumatic breakup.my apologies. As guards dragged her out, Emma's desperate gaze found John, her supposed lifeline. He stared straight ahead, refusing even peripheral acknowledgement. Not helping your girlfriend? I murmured. John sighed. There was never anything between us, really? She looked heartbroken when you ignored her. The reception continued seamlessly. Champagne flutes clinking, laughter rising like bubbles. We collected our divorce papers the following week, swift and bloodless. There was no argument, no physical altercation. We calmly obtained our divorce certificate. Even after leaving the Civil Affairs Bureau, we shook hands and bid farewell. How Emma and Kevin continued their love-hate entanglement, I didn't pay attention to. I saw her again on a cruise ship. Lily took me to see the world. John was there too. We nodded at each other in greeting. Later, while I was enjoying the sea breeze in a corner, Lily came bouncing over. Emma had arrived too, earlier. She'd accidentally spilled her drink into John's arms, putting on a flustered act while cleaning his suit. Honestly, it was hard to tell whether she was wiping off wine or flirting, but John remained stoic, grabbing her wrist to push her away. The man was practically a saint. Really? I propped my chin on my hand, unable to resist commenting. When we were married, he was like a horny dog. Now that we're divorced, he's suddenly celibate? Guess cheating isn't exciting without a wife to betray? Lily studied me, still as sharp-tongued as ever. Good. I was afraid you were just pretending to be unaffected around me. It dawned on me. No wonder she'd been dragging me to every party and event, worried I'd be crying alone in some dark corner. Unaffected? Of course not, but truthfully, not as devastated as she feared. All my emotions about John had been spent a year earlier, remember? You flew back from abroad just to slap some sense into me. We fell silent. That's when I encountered Emma. Our eyes met. She flinched away first, turning to leave, but after 2 steps spun back around. You shouldn't hate me, she declared. There was never real love between you and John. If anything, I helped you see his true colors. You should thank me. The absurdity made me blink. Emma spoke with utter conviction, her expression sincere. She genuinely believed this. Curiosity got the better of me. What makes you think there was no love between us? Her lips curled in a knowing smile. I told you. I'm not who you think I am. Before choosing John to get back at Kevin, I did my research. You were his employee. 3 months at his company before becoming his girlfriend and quitting. Such a short time. You chose him for money. He chose you for looks. What else could it be? Her words left me speechless for a full 30 seconds. Strangely, I felt the urge to sit down with this woman. Her perspective uncomfortably mirrored my own doubts. Do you know I write novels? I finally asked. No. Of course not. You probably think I'm some unemployed gold digger John kept. Wouldn't know my book royalties hit 8 figures. Not that it matters. What I really want to say is when I first learned about you and Kevin, I was excited. Kevin gets injured saving you. Breaks up. Disappears overseas. Classic tragic backstory. But you're not the type to cry in shadows. You'd force a confrontation. So you picked John, seduced him, flirted, used him openly. 2 men fighting over 1 woman. Kevin, the man who unknowingly harbored deep affection, only to awaken in regret. John, the powerful figure who saw through a woman's ulterior motives yet willingly let himself be used. Bending his pride. What reactions did I expect from them? Kevin aggressively asserting ownership, declaring I could only belong to him? John confronting the world, refusing to relinquish me no matter the cost? Emma's reaction revealed she shared my imagination. Coincidentally, so did I. I eagerly anticipated their clash. Yet reality proved bitterly disappointing. John released Emma without resistance. his excuses and rationalizations laying bare his selfishness. Predictably ordinary. Like any man ruled by base instincts, unoriginal in his flaws. What defines a true protagonist? Someone who knows their desires and pursues them relentlessly, even against universal opposition. Simple in theory. Yet how many achieve this? That year, seeking inspiration, Lily sent me to intern at our childhood neighbor John's company. Her warning echoed John's prime material but dangerous territory. Play if you must, but guard your heart. I vowed, all for my art. My resolves unshakable. A staunch commitment phobe meeting a workaholic ascetic, he drove me mercilessly. Criticized harshly. Yet I thrived under pressure. Even comforting cowering colleagues. He called me thoughtless. Careless. Privately though, he admitted appreciating my simplicity. When I got lost during a business trip, his panic nearly summoned police while I slurped noodles roadside. You're giving me heart palpitations. He groaned. Weak heart? I teased. You're the cure. He countered. Why take this internship so seriously? He once challenged. Mastery demands dedication. I replied. Authentic stories require lived precision. Late-night rides home became routine. He'd drape his coat over me as I dozed off. Do you love me? I finally asked. He covered my eyes. Exasperated yet tender. You just had to dismantle my carefully constructed restraint? In my novels, love perseveres through tempests, real, enduring. Side characters remain flat. Narrative props. When Emma declared no true bond existed between John and me, I understood, in her narrative. I'm merely an extra. If I rewrote this story, Kevin, the icy heir who entered a casual romance only to nearly die for love. Recognizing danger, he withdrew until emotion overpowered logic. John, the tycoon wary of gold diggers. Lowering defenses solely for me. Knowing he's being used, he'd shatter alliances. Endure scorn to stay by my side. As I spoke, Emma's breathing grew ragged. I exhaled slowly, the air thick with unspoken reckonings. Only those who meet my criteria can be called male leads. Otherwise, they're just ordinary men in everyday life, unworthy of that title. By the same logic, Emma, what makes you the female lead? Riding coattails of your male counterpart? I used to believe John and I were the protagonists of some modern fairy tale. Our love felt extraordinary, forged through more trials than others. Our story brimmed with romance. I who never wanted marriage yearned to wed because of him, he who avoided commitment knelt proposing because of me. I just want to be with you, he vowed. Through poverty or wealth, health or sickness. Yet later, when others mentioned us, he'd smoke and shrug, got carried away. He started coming home late, choosing drinks with friends, fishing trips, golf games over dinners with me. Even on my birthday, his mind wandered elsewhere. Are you even listening? I'd snap. I'm here, aren't I? He'd retort. What more do you want? I became hysterical, screaming, crying, my turmoil eventually causing a miscarriage. He watched coldly, like I was a stranger. Are you insane? He asked. During my darkest days, I chain-smoked, drowned in alcohol, swallowed sleeping pills with liquor. Lily flew back from abroad and slapped sense into me. Did you forget? She demanded. You only dated him initially to research a character. That revelation from a year ago began my healing. No one stays rational forever. We drown in relationships, lose ourselves, convinced our love stories are unparalleled. We deny failure, mistaking it for some grand romantic transition. Truth is, there are few true male leads, no unwavering devotion, no dramatic epiphanies, no gut-wrenching regrets. Emma and I, mere side characters in John and Kevin's lives. They'll move past this chapter unscathed. facing no consequences. But must we remain trapped in the wreckage they created? If your heroine status depends on some man, you'll eventually get replaced. If I'm the protagonist, it's through my own merit. When I left, Emma crouched sobbing on the floor. I drove away on a clear sunny morning without destination, eventually settling in an unremarkable city. New faces, new experiences, new friendships emerged. I never learned when tension brewed between Kevin and John. Kevin didn't cover for him after drinks. He exposed John's affair with Emma. This time, John threw the first punch. Their brawl settled nothing. Like most things between them, Kevin never did end up marrying that well-connected heiress from an equally prominent family. To make matters worse, they schemed against him and cost him a fortune. But then again, why should a woman of her status tolerate his privileged antics? As for Emma, she eventually stepped away from all the drama. Kevin toyed with her emotions. And so did John. Not a single person was willing to give her their all. In this twisted game of love, she was the only one left with broken bones and scars. The others? Mere scratches at best. Honestly, I don't know what to think. Sometimes late at night, I catch John scrolling through my social media with a drink in hand. He even asks Lily about my whereabouts occasionally. Don't tell me he's having regrets? Lily once probed. I just laughed and shook my head. If this counts as regret, then every performative gesture from emotionally stunted men deserves an Oscar. Narcissists thrive on attention, deny them the spotlight, and their theatrics crumble. Me? I've got better things to do than feed his ego. These days, I light incense for clarity, say my prayers for focus, and consult the stars for timing. A new chapter begins at dawn, and I intend to write every damn word of it. Thanks for watching. Subscribe for more exciting stories. And drop your thoughts on this one in the comments. See you next time.